I woke up today and decided that I want to tell you the story of this thermometer. And it's not just any thermometer. There's actually a direct connection to the family of Tsar Nicholas II, and I'll tell you more about that in just a second. But you know why thermometers were on my mind this morning? Because it's fundraising season for nonprofit organizations like the Russian History Museum, and you've probably seen a lot of these organizations use thermometers to show their progress on their fundraising campaigns. So I had this idea to use the thermometer to illustrate how your financial support impacts our museum and how your investment makes it possible for us to share artifacts like this and their stories with you. Now, before we dive into the history of this object, I want to tell you that our 2023 annual appeal is in full swing and that every gift you make by December 31st will be matched up to $50,000 by 6 of our amazing donors and board members. Right now, we're about a quarter of the way to our goal, thanks to those of our wonderful friends who have already taken advantage of this incredible opportunity. So if you would like to make a gift right away and don't feel like watching the rest of this video, you can go ahead and click on the donation link in the description below to donate online, or there's information on how you can mail in a check if that's your preferred method of giving. Okay, let's get back to the thermometer. What makes it so special? Well, it was found during the forensic investigation of the murder of Russia's last Tsar, Nicholas II, and his family, who were killed by the Bolsheviks in the city of Ekaterinburg 105 years ago. The investigation was launched within weeks of the family's death, and this thermometer was among the hundreds of personal belongings of the Tsar's family and their attendants that were recovered and carefully documented as the investigators tried to piece together what had actually happened on that fateful night of July 17, 1918. And dozens of these objects are now in the museum's collection. So let me tell you about 3 things that we do at the museum that transform these ordinary looking objects into something that educates, inspires, and hopefully makes you stop and think. Number 1 is its preservation, taking care of it properly so that, well, it continues to exist. We want to make sure that it's stored correctly so that the glass doesn't shatter and the mercury here doesn't spill all over the place. We need to maintain the optimal temperature and humidity so that materials don't degrade. And sometimes artifacts that are particularly in poor condition need to be treated by professional conservators to bring them back to life. Take a look at these examples of objects that we recently conserved. The second thing that we do is research. Of course, to properly track and document an object, we have to catalog it so we have a full physical description of the object and where it came from, who donated it, who belonged to. But we want to go beyond that and ask, what story does this object tell? What is the context that it was created in, and how was it used? For example, once you inspect the materials used to make this thermometer and the markings along the side, you realize that it was made specifically for baths. I mean, the wood would keep it afloat when you put it in the water, right? So why did the Romanovs take a bath thermometer with them into exile after the Tsar was placed under house arrest along with his family and then sent to Siberia? Well, you remember that Tsarevich Alexei, the Tsar's son, was suffering from an illness called hemophilia, and taking baths was one of the treatments used to ease his pain. And perhaps this very thermometer was intended for Alexis's therapeutic baths, or maybe for Empress Alexandra, whose health was also on the decline by this point. And number 3, we want to share these historical materials and findings with you. Of course, we do that through our exhibitions right here in Jordanville at the Russian History Museum, where you can see these objects on display and enjoy a tour. But did you know that we also lend artifacts to other museums, both nationally and internationally? For example, a few years ago, the thermometer was displayed along with 27 other objects from our museum at the Science Museum in London, in an exhibition called The Last Tsar, Blood and Revolution. But we don't just share these objects and stories with you through exhibitions. We use artifacts as teaching tools for children's classes that introduce the kids to history, to art and culture. We also use the historical materials from our collections to illustrate our monthly online Second Saturday lectures, where guest speakers present on a wide variety of topics. And we share these stories with you by posting on our social media and in articles on our website. But the preservation, the research, and the sharing takes time, effort, and financial investment. And remember that this thermometer is just one of thousands of objects, books, and documents in our unique collection. And doing these three things, preserving, researching, and sharing, is only possible thanks to our fantastic donors. So please donate today and take this opportunity to get your donation matched dollar for dollar. Your support makes a huge difference, whatever the amount you choose to give. You can donate by clicking the link in the video description below or by check. Our mailing address is also in the description. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your support of the Russian History Museum.